Hello everyone, welcome to RVG Learning Zone. Today in this video we will solve another problem on Liquidator's statement of account. In the last two videos related to problem we had solved one simple problem and another problem where we were supposed to calculate Liquidator's remuneration on unsecured creditors, all that. And the problem which we are solving today is from the question paper. So we'll get some idea about how your question paper will be in the final examination. Okay, now let's start. Here is the question paper. Let us go to the question first, because before going to solution, it's very important to understand the question first. Okay, so now what has been given? The following is the balance sheet of Sahaja Limited, which went into liquidation on 31/3/2021. When the company went into liquidation, 31/3/2021, we need to make a note of this date. Sometimes it is required. Okay, and next what has been given? Liabilities and assets, nothing but the balance sheet. Okay, first part of the problem is the balance sheet. What they mention in the balance sheet, on the asset side they have given some fixed asset and even fictitious asset, and on the liability side we have preference share capital, equity and debentures, creditors, all that. We'll look into it after getting into this additional information. Okay, and after that, in the additional information, even the additional information is very important. Using that we'll be solving the problem, right? So what additional information given here is, liquidator is entitled to a commission of 3% on assets realized, okay, and 2% on amount distributed to unsecured creditors. So what is it we understand here is, liquidator's remuneration is not given directly. We need to calculate. Next, what has been given? It is related to creditors. With respect to creditors, what they have given? Creditors include preferential creditors of rupees 37,500 and a loan of rupees 1,25,000 secured by mortgage on land and building. While solving, I'll explain you what it is. Okay. And next is about the preference dividend. What has been given? Preference dividend were in arrears for 2 years. And arrears are payable on liquidation. Next, what they have given? Assets realized as follows. Assets realized means what? The assets, whatever you're seeing in the balance sheet, that is land and building, plant and machinery, patents, stocks, sundry debtors, all these things, when they were sold in the market, the company could get this much. If you observe, land and building as per the balance sheet, the value is 2,50,000. But for how much they could sell it for? 4 lakh rupee. So we need to consider this amount. Okay. Next, plant and machinery, if you observe here, the value was 6,25,000. But in the market, when it was sold, how much the company could get? 5 lakh rupee. Next, patent, if you observe, the value was 1 lakh as per the balance sheet. But here, how much the company could realize is 75,000. Stock is 1,37,500. But here, it is 1,50,000. Next, sundry debtors, 2,75,000 is the value. But how much could the company get out of that? 2 lakh rupee. So, what is the observation here? Land and building, if you take, 2,50,000 was the value. But the company could generate 4 lakh, more than the book value, more than the value what is there in the balance sheet. But if you observe here, plant and machinery, the actual value was 6,25,000 as per the company's valuation. But how much they could get? Only 5 lakh. So when you compare with the book value or the value what is given in the balance sheet, the value here or the assets realized can reduce or increase. Okay, that you need to note down. For example, you take a thing that you have a mobile phone and you're planning to sell it for 15,000. Okay, now when you are about to sell, you may get a customer who may ask it for 14,000, and to some customer you may be even able to sell it for 16,000. It is just like that. So when you take the actual value, sale value, what you have to do, it is not 15,000. For how much you sell it, that value is to be considered. If you sell it for 14,000, 14,000 is to be considered. Got it? Not the 15,000. Same way here. Okay, so assets realized, what amount they have given here, that is to be considered. And you may ask a question, if they don't mention any asset here, what to do? Then what we will do is, we will consider this value itself. For example, here sundry debtors is 2,75,000. Think that here they have not given, sundry debtors they did not given. At that time you will take this value only. Okay, next, okay, so related to land and building, they have given plant and machinery, patent, stock, sundry debtors, all this they have given, right? Next is cash at bank. Cash at bank, you need not sell it. It is like company, we are talking about Sahaja Limited, right? Sahaja Limited has money in its bank account. That is nothing but cash at bank we are talking about. You can withdraw from the bank. Okay, and next is profit and loss account, that is 3 lakh. What it is? Profit and loss given on the asset side, it is not profit, it is a loss. It is debit balance of profit and loss account, which indicates loss. This is called as fictitious assets. And should we consider liquidation or not? No, we should ignore it, because out of this loss of 3 lakh rupee, can I get anything out of it? No. That is the reason we are going to ignore this profit and loss account. Got it? Next, apart from the what is given, expenses of liquidation amounted to rupees 27,250. This is liquidation expenses. Next, prepare the liquidator's final statement of account, assuming all the payments are made on 39/2021. Okay, when it is made 39/2021. Even this date is important. Okay, this is about the question. Now we'll solve it. Okay, it's easy to solve this, even though the question looks lengthier. The solution is very easy. Firstly, what is it we need to do? Here you can observe, right? What is being given? Receipt side, payment side. Left hand side we have receipt. That means whenever we receive cash, we have to take on the left hand side. And whenever we make the payment, take on the right hand side. Okay. On the receipt side, if you look into the format, what is it we need to take first? Cash at bank, right? So let us see whether we have cash at bank given in the question. Yes, it is there, right? See, cash at bank is given. How much? 75,000. That is what we have written here. Cash at bank is 75,000. Okay. Next, if they give cash in hand, even that will be considered. But there is no information with respect to that here. After that, what is that we need to take? Assets realized. Assets realized means for how much the company's assets were sold for. I told you, no, we should consider not this value, but what is given in the additional information. If it is not mentioned here, then the value given in the balance sheet will be considered. So which are the assets realized here? Land and building is 4 lakh. If you observe, I haven't written here under, 1 minute, okay. I haven't written under assets realized here. Land and building, I'll tell you why, okay. Apart from that, what is it? Plant and machinery 5 lakh. Have I written here? Plant and machinery 5 lakh. Next, what is given? Patents 75,000. Patent 75,000 I have written. Next, stock is 1,50,000. Stock 1,50,000. Next, debtors, sundry debtors is how much? 2 lakh. Okay, these are the assets realized. These assets, using these assets, from these assets they could get this much amount. So when we add all this, please use your calculator in order to calculate this. Finally, we get 9,25,000. Okay, just to save time, I have already made all the calculation and kept, so that to explain it will be very easy. But you people, please take a calculator and do calculation. Okay. Next, what is the next thing in the format? To surplus from securities. When does this arise? When we have secured creditors. Secured creditors against whom some asset is pledged, right? So if you just look at the second paragraph, here they have given creditors include preferential creditors 37,500. Let's keep this aside. And a loan for rupees 1,25,000. We have taken loan. Let us imagine it is our company. How much loan we have taken? 1,25,000. It is secured by mortgage on land and building. That means we have taken loan of 1,25,000, right? Against that, what have we mortgaged? What have we pledged? Land and building. That means when the company goes into liquidation, we need to sell the land and building, and out of the amount that we get, we need to pay to the pay towards loan. Okay, so now here if you observe land and building, the actual value was 2,50,000, but for how much we could sell it for? 4 lakh rupee. This is the what is that asset which was mortgaged, that means pledged. So what we will write here, surplus from securities. Security realized. Which security are we talking about? That is about the land and building. Land and building for how much we could get? 4 lakh rupee. That is what I have written here. But how much loan we have to pay? The loan that we have to pay is 1,25,000, right? 1,25,000. Out of 4 lakh, if you pay 1,25,000, how much is remaining? 2,75,000. Still money is there for the company because we have got 4 lakh rupee. In that 1,25,000 we will pay. Still 2,75,000 is remaining. That is nothing but surplus from securities. Okay, this is about the receipt side. If you observe other problems also, we have most of the time these many entries in the problem. Okay, now let us look into the payment side. This is very important. Okay, I told you, right, when we talk about payment, we should not go according to what we feel like. No, there is a priority. Accordingly we need to make the payment. Firstly, on the payment side we need to pay the legal fees, but in this question there is nothing like legal fees, right? The second priority is towards the liquidators remuneration. With respect to liquidators remuneration, they have not given the amount directly. Here if you observe in the question, they have given liquidator is entitled to a commission, remuneration, whatever they give, the calculation, the way of calculation will remain the same. Okay, how much is that? 3% on all the assets realized except cash. This is very important. 3% on all the assets realized except cash, and 2% on amount distributed among unsecured creditors. Now we will look into this adjustment. Okay. Firstly, they have told the liquidator is entitled to a commission of 3% on all assets realized, right? So if you just consider which are the assets realized here, because we need to give 3% on all assets realized. So which are the asset? If you observe, plant and machinery, patent, here only we can take, we need not go to the question again. Stock, sundry debtors, and even land and building also we need to take, even that we had sold, right? So plant and machinery, patent, stock, debtors, land and building. When you add all this, you will get 13,25,000. How much you get? 13,25,000. On 13,25,000 we need to take 3%. 3% on this is 39,750. Okay, so liquidators remuneration, here I have written, no, liquidators remuneration. Firstly, 3% on asset realized. We can calculate here only. How much we get? 39,750. That is done. Okay, we are done with this. Next, talking about the next one, what they have given? They have given here, it is 2% on amounts distributed among unsecured creditors. But when do we distribute to unsecured creditors? Only after making payment towards liquidation expense, debenture holders, preferential creditors. Then if we have amount, then we will be making payment to unsecured creditors. Based on how much payment we make to them, on that we will be calculating. So we need to keep this pending, right? 2% on unsecured creditors and leave space for that. Okay. Now what you have to do, each time when you write the next entry, you have to take the calculator. You add all this first. 75,000, 9,25,000, 2,75,000. How much you get actually? I have covered here to keep the question. We get 12,75,000. Remember how much we get on the receipt side. If we add, how much you get? 12,75,000. I'll even write it here just to explain. 12,75,000. So that much money we have right now. We need to utilize that money and make the payment. Okay. Now we have made the payment to liquidators remuneration on assets realized. How much it is? 39,750. That has been written. It is done. Next, on unsecured creditors later we have to do. Next, what is that we have to take? Liquidation expenses. Have they given in the question? Yes, they have given here. That is why I have underlined. The expenses of liquidation amounted to 27,250. That is what I have written here. Now what you have to do? 12,75,000 minus 39,750 minus 27,250. You do still we have balance. So we can make the further payment. Further payment means which one? Debenture holders. So when we talk about debenture holders, you just look into the balance sheet. Debenture holders will be there in the balance sheet. They have given 5% debentures, 2,50,000. What does it mean, 5% debentures? That means on the amount they have invested, we need to give 5% interest. 5% is nothing but interest. Got it? So what we have to do first, for the debenture holders, what payment we have to make? One is this debenture amount, that is 2,50,000. I have written here now, 5% debenture, 2,50,000. Next, even interest is outstanding. Outstanding means due. What we have to do? We need to add outstanding interest, 12,500. That is what we have written. Okay. And another thing, it is not like 12,500 you write, add it and write in the final column. They have even given here, assume all the payments are made on 30th 9/2021. When the company went into liquidation, 31/3/2021, that is in the month of March. March is done. 31/3 means March end. When we are making the payment, 30/9/2021. That means April, May, June, July, August, September. So 6 months interest we need to give, because we will be paying on 30/9/2021. Till then, their invested amount will be with the company. Simply the debenture holders will not keep their money with the company. Even for that period, the interest should be given. So what we have to do, this is very important, especially for the debenture holders when we calculate the interest. So what you will do, interest till the date of payment, that also we need to add. How do you calculate the, what is that principal amount, 2,50,000 into interest rate is 5%. So 5/100 into how many months we need to pay the interest till the date of payment means 6 months. 6 months. Actually, this 5% interest is there, no? 5% is for 1 year. 1 year means how many months? 12 months. So, for 12 months, 5% is given. But for how many months we need to give the interest? Only 6 months. So, we have to do 6/12. Out of 12 months, we are paying only for 6 months. Got it? Why we have taken 6/12? Because 5% given here is for 12 months. For 12 months, 5%. But for 6 months, how much it is, we need to calculate. We get totally, it is 6,250. When we add all this, 2,68,750. Next, what you have to do again, 12,75,000 minus 39,750 minus 27,250 minus 26,8,750. When you minus all this, still you will find the balance, because of which we can make the payment to creditors also. So each time you write the payment, each side you enter on the payment side, you should be keep calculating to know the balance remaining. Okay. Next, creditors. And this is nothing but unsecured creditors, but priority wise, if we take, firstly we need to take preferential creditors. So how much is the preferential creditors? In the balance sheet they have mentioned creditors 3,62,500. But are we taking the 3,62,500 as preferential creditors? No. It includes, creditors means it includes secured creditors, unsecured creditors in the preferential creditors also. So what we have to do, let us see the additional information. They have given creditors include preferential creditors 37,500. So it is direct here. Preferential creditors how much? 37,500. That is what we have written here. Next we need to pay for unsecured creditors, no? How much we need to pay? They have not given. Total creditor is given, but we need to calculate how much is the unsecured creditors. And it's very easy. Let me just show you how to calculate. Okay. See, if you observe, total creditors is how much? 3,62,500. That is what I have written. Total creditor 3,62,500. And preferential creditors how much? Preferential creditors, if you observe, 37,500. We need to deduct that. And a loan of rupees 1,25,000 secured by a mortgage is there, that is secured creditor. So what you have to do in order to arrive at unsecured creditor, you need to take total creditors 3,62,500. Next, from that you need to deduct preferential creditors, that is 37,500, and secured creditors, that is nothing but loan, 1,25,000. Finally, how much you get? 2 lakh rupee. 2 lakh rupee is nothing but the unsecured creditors. That is what we have written here, right? So 37,500 plus 2 lakh, it is 2,37,500, the total creditors, unsecured creditors. And here, before proceeding to the next, don't forget we need to calculate liquidators remuneration on the amount paid to unsecured creditors, right? So let us do the calculation here. Yeah. Here if you observe, 2% on amount distributed to unsecured creditors, right? Before that, unsecured creditors, they have just mentioned that much. That means what? Unsecured creditors means it is preferential creditors plus unsecured creditors. That means we need to take preferential creditors and unsecured creditors, both. Okay, let me just tell you the instance. If they give unsecured creditors other than preferential creditors, then you will take only this amount, unsecured creditors. If they give unsecured creditors except preferential creditors, then also you will take only unsecured creditors. If they give unsecured creditors and preferential creditors, then you will take both. If they mention only unsecured creditors, then we need to understand we need to take both. Okay. So in this case, it is on unsecured creditors, right? So what we have to do, on both amount we need to calculate. Firstly, on 2% on preferential creditors. Preferential creditors, how much? 37,500. 37,500 into 2%, it amounts to rupees 750. And 2% on unsecured creditors, that is on 2 lakh. 2 lakh into 2% is 4,000. So total 750 plus 4,000, it is 4,750. Now you need to write the liquidators remuneration. Okay. Liquidators remuneration on unsecured creditors. How much is that? 4,750. Hope you understood. Okay. This is the calculation, the type of calculation what you can find in most of the questions given in the question paper. Okay. Next, what is the next thing? Now, 12,75,000 is there. We have made payment till unsecured creditors. No, you go on deducting all that. Next, check how much is there. Still, we have amount. So, we are going to pay to the preference shareholders. Okay, preference shareholders, we are going to make the payment. How much we need to pay to the preference shareholders is the question. Okay, by preference shareholders, capital. Capital is how much? See, if you observe here, they have given 5,000, 6% preference shares of rupees 100 each fully paid. Amount is 5 lakh. That means how many shares are issued? Preference share 5,000. 6% means it talks about the dividend that is to be paid to the preference shareholders. What is the price of each share, value of each share? Rupees 100. Total capital is 5 lakh out of preference. So what we have to pay to the preference shareholders? One is capital amount, that is 5 lakh. This we have to pay. Next, if they mention in the question, like here they have given no, the preference dividend, hope you are able to see, the preference dividend were in arrears for 2 years and the arrears are payable on liquidation. Arrears for 2 years means for 2 years dividend is due, that means it is to be paid now. When it is being paid? On liquidation. On payment date, they have told it is paid on liquidation. When the company goes into liquidation, 31/3/2021. Okay. So here what you have to do? 5 lakh rupee into rate is 6% dividend. 6 by 100 into, for 2 years it was in arrears, right? So into 2 you. How much you get? 60,000. So 5 lakh plus 60,000, it amounts to 5 lakh 60,000. This is the amount we need to make payment to the preference shareholders. Now if you deduct amount like 12,75,000 minus all the payments till preference shareholders, if you deduct, do you still see the balance? Yeah. Yes, we need we see the balance of around 1,37,000, right? 12,75,000, let me tell you, 12,75,000 minus 39,750, 4,750 minus 27,250, 2,68,750, 2,37,500, next minus 5,60,000. When you do, finally we get the balance of 1,37,000. Whom we have to pay now? At last we need to make the payment to equity shareholders. But simply we cannot write equity shareholders 1,37,000. No. What is the reason? Because in the question, if you observe, here they have two group of equity shares. One is 2,500 shares. 2,500 shares of 100 each, 75 paid up. Fully they have not paid. Out of 100 rupees, only 75 rupees is paid. So total amount received from them is 1,87,500. Next group of shareholder are 7,500 equity shares of 100 each. But how much is paid up? 60. That is 4,50,000 is the paid up capital. That we need to keep in mind. So at last, we need to make the payment to equity shareholders. Before that, we need to make some working. What working you need to pay? You need to make. Let me just tell you. Okay. Working note is here. Either at last we may have to refund to the equity shareholders, or we may have to make calls to equity shareholders. Refund means from company amount is to be given to them. Calls means we need to ask them to pay full. Either of the cases. Now let's see what is that we have to do and how to deal with this. It's very easy. First, what we have to do, we need to take the paid up share capital. Paid up means what? If you see here, 2,500 equity shares of 100 is 75 paid. How much is that? 1,87,500. 1,87,500 and 7,500 equity shares of 100 is 60 paid. 4,50,000. That is what? When we add both of this, we get 6,37,500. If we take both group of shares, equity shares here, the total amount that is paid up is 6,37,500. That means we need to make the payment of 6,37,500 to them. But can we do it? No, because the available balance is only 1,37,000. 1,37,000 only. So here, equity shareholders are going to incur loss. And when we say that they are going to incur loss, every equity shareholder are going to incur loss equally. That means if they have paid 75 doesn't mean they are going to get more priority over payment. 60 means they are getting least priority over payment. No. What we have to do is the total paid up is 6,37,500. No. But actual balance what we have right now is 1,37,000. How we got? We added all the receipts and we deducted all the payments. Finally, we got 1,37,000. Finally, when we deduct this, how much we get? 5,500. 5,500, it is nothing but the total loss for all the equity shareholders. Got it? Why? Because the company, let us say it is our company, we have only 1,37,000, but we were supposed to pay this much, no? When we pay only this much, they are going to incur loss of 5,500. Who is going to incur loss? Every shareholder. So what we have to do, this is a total loss, right? 5,500 is the total loss. What you have to do next is we need to find loss per share. How many shares are there? 75 paid up with respect to that 2,500 shares are there. When it is 60 paid up, 7,500 shares are there. So here, for one share, what is the loss? What you will do? Total loss divided by number of shares. Number of shares means 2,500 plus 7,500, right? So it will be 10,000 shares, which is equal to 50.05. So each share, for each share there is a loss of 50 rupees 0.05. Okay. Next, what you have to do? We will just write one class of shares is 2,500 shares and another is 7,500 shares. So for 2,500, how much rupees paid up per share? 75, right? For 7,500 shares, how much is paid up? 60. It is here, no? 75 paid up, 60 paid up. That is what we have written here. Actually, as per their payment, we were supposed to give them 75 rupees. To them, we are supposed to give 60 rupees. But we cannot make the payment as there is no enough available balance. Now, what we have to do? We need to deduct the loss. Because they need to bear the loss. They are the owners. They should be enjoying the profit. At the same time, if there is loss, they need to incur them equally. So, 75 rupees. It is loss means it indicates minus, right? Minus 50.05. It will be 24.95. Instead of making payment of 75 rupees per share, how much we need to pay? Only 24.95. 24 rupees 0.95. And about the 60 paid up, how much we have to pay? If we deduct the loss, they are going to bear the loss of 50.05. Finally, it is 9.95. That means we will not pay 60 rupees per share. We will be paying only 9.95 per share. Got it? So now, I told either we have to refund or make the calls. What we have to do here? It's very easy. We got positive sign here, right? 75 is the greater number. 75 minus 50, it's plus 24. Here 60 minus 50, it is plus 9.95. If we get positive answer, then we have to refund. Company needs to give the money to the equity shareholders. If we get negative here, it's like minus 24.95 or minus 9.95. In that case, we need to make calls. That means equity shareholders need to give money to the company. If we have to make calls, they give money to the company, no? Then it comes on the receipt side. But here we are refunding. You remember this, no? 24.95, 9.95. What we have to do now? It's easy, right? Firstly, let me just explain again. Firstly, we take paid up capital. Then we deduct available balance. Finally, we get total loss. And total loss is like loss for 10,000 shares. But we need to find for 1 share. So total loss divided by total number of shares, we get 50.05. So here 75 minus loss per share, 60 minus loss per share, we get this amount. This much will be paid. For 2,500 shares, this much will be paid, and 7,500, this much will be paid for 1 share. Okay, that is what you need to remember here now. Let me just keep this. Okay, now equity shareholders. Here if you observe, equity shareholders. Firstly, we have 2,500 equity shares. Next, 7,500 equity shares. 2,500 shares into, we are not paying 75 rupees. We are making the payment of 24.95 only, because you have seen the calculation. So, how much we will be paying? 62,375 only. Actual paid up is how much? 1,87,500. We are not paying that much. We are paying 62,375. Next, 7,500 shares are there, no? We are not making the payment of 60 rupees. We are paying only 9.95. So, instead of paying them 4,50,000, how much we are paying? 74,625. The remaining amount is loss for them. It is just like that. During liquidation time, how much ever amount is there, only that much can be paid. Okay, else it is a loss. So, here this is provided in note 3. When you add both, it is 1,37,000. That is what the balance we had, right? Now, if you add receipt side, yes, it is 12,75,000. And if you add all the numbers on the payment side, it is 12,75,000. What does it mean? Whatever amount we had with us, we have utilized completely for making all the payments. Okay, so receipt side should be equal to payment side. It's very easy, right? Just you write everything on the receipt side, add it, and on the payment side you go on the priority basis, like priority wise. And with respect to equity shareholders, a very small calculation you have to make. Also here, don't forget about liquidators remuneration. On the assets realized, if they give, at first only we can calculate. But on unsecured creditors means after we write the amount in unsecured creditors, then only we will be calculating it. After we calculate, we write here. Okay, this is about the solution. Very easy. And yeah, apart from this, let me just tell you a few things. Certain things to remember while solving the problem. Okay, see, when the question says that liquidator is entitled to remuneration on assets realized, what you have to take? You need to take all the assets, but you should not take cash. You can take cash, only the problem specifies all the assets including cash. If they say that, then only we will be taking cash. Otherwise, we will not take it. Okay. And in this problem, if you observe, they have given all the assets realized except cash. So, cash should not be taken. You may ask a question, if it is just given as on all the assets realized, what we have to do? Don't take cash, only other assets. They need to specify it, then only. Then, another thing is like if the remuneration is on unsecured creditors, what you have to do? You need to take preferential creditors plus unsecured creditors, right? Preferential creditors plus unsecured creditors. Only if they mention like other than preferential creditors or excluding preferential creditors, then only we will exclude preferential creditors. You need to remember that second point. Third is sometimes on the liability side they mention outstanding income tax. They will not tell anything like preferential creditors, all that. They will just mention as outstanding income tax. That is nothing but preferential creditor. You need to remember preferential creditor. Okay. And on the liability side, again they will give BOD. It is nothing but bank overdraft, or BP, that is nothing but bills payable. If they give BOD, that is bank overdraft, or bills payable, again they are unsecured creditors. Even if they don't specifically say unsecured creditors, we need to understand bank overdraft and bills payable are unsecured creditors. Okay. And on the asset side, if they give profit and loss, what you will do? You will just ignore it because it doesn't have any value. We cannot sell it. It is a loss. You will ignore. Likewise, if they give goodwill on the asset side, okay, they give goodwill on the asset side, but no additional information with respect to that saying goodwill is realized. If it is not given, what we have to do? Even that we have to ignore. Because if simply they have given goodwill in the balance sheet, no additional information, that means it is valueless. It is not sold. So ignore. In case goodwill is given on the asset side and the additional information they give, like on the balance sheet they have given goodwill rupees 1 lakh, and assets realized there they have given goodwill is realized for like 1,20,000, then we will consider that. If no additional information is given, ignore. Okay. Next, with respect to equity shares, you have seen no one equity shares, that is 2,500 shares where they had paid 75 rupees. Another is 7,500 equity shares, they had paid 75 paid up. But what is the observation here? Irrespective of how much they have paid, equally they have taken the risk of loss. Right? They have to bear the risk of loss equally, no doubt in that. Okay. And another point to remember, if assets realized is not enough to settle secured creditors, I am talking about security realized. Asset will be pledged against secured creditor. No? If that asset realized is not enough to settle secured creditor, remaining amount what we have to treat as unsecured creditor. This I have explained actually. Okay, what we have to treat as unsecured creditor. So these are some points that we have to remember. Okay. And even speaking about preferential creditors, it's like government tax. That is what I was talking about. No, outstanding income tax if they give, we will take, and like Workmen Compensation Act, contribution under ESI, and few other things like we need to treat as preferential credit. Okay. So this is about liquidator statement of account. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Please, you can always put a comment, and please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. This is about today's video. Until the next video, bye bye.